So we can start. Happy New Year! Namiss ko kayo. So at least ngayon, start of the year, tuloy-tuloy tayo. So, Happy New Year, everyone. This is the first press briefing of DPWH for 2026. And please bear with us. Medyo madami kaming i-discuss ngayon, madami kaming i-announce. And then later on, we'll accept a few questions, issues from the past weeks, etc., and moving forward. So, first of all, I just want to start by saying that now that the President signed the 2026 budget exactly a week ago, I think the renewed focus of the, not just DPWH, but of the entire government, is to really push programs following the President's directive na ang bawat piso na pera ng mga kababayan natin dapat magastos at magamit sa tama. No, I think that is the clear message of the President, lalo na ng pinirmahan ng budget. Pero since, last year, nung naglabasa na itong mga grabing pagnanakaw ng pera ng mga kababayan natin, na ang point ni Presidente, kaya niya in-expose to, kaya niya pinasabog ito, is to say, tama na. Diba? Tama na to. Tama na yung pagnanakaw ng pera ng mga kababayan natin, na imbes na mapunta sa mga kababayan natin ang pera, kung kani-kanino napupunta. And I think, yung budget na pinirma ng ating Pangulo, na pinasa ng ating Kongreso, ito na ang panibagong panimula, no? Nitong renewed effort na to, na talagang siguraduhin na yung bawat piso ng mga pera ng kababayan natin ay nagagasto sa tama. So, if I may just start with the President's words, no?
Kaisan ninyo ako sa pagnanais na masiguro ang bawat pisong buwis ay mapupunta sa tamang proyekto at sa tunay na pangangailangan ng ating taong bayan.
So, the President clearly said it. No? Kaisan niyo ako sa pagnanais na masiguro na bawat pisong buwis ay mapupunta sa tamang proyekto at sa tunay na pangangailangan ng ating taong bayan. I think this is the clearest message of the President to start the year. And this is the message across government. No? And for DPWH, which we can consider the epicenter of this, massive stealing of the people's money, we really have to show the people na nagsisimula na ngayon ang pagbabago na ninanais hindi lang ng Pangulo, kundi ng ating mga kababayan, nating lahat. No? So, ang mga i-discuss ko sa inyo ngayon, sa ating mga kababayan ngayon, yung mga gagawin nating mga pagbabago, mga gagawin nating reforma, at gagawin nating mga prioridad simula ngayong 2026, and hopefully, hindi na titigil ito, tuloy-tuloy na ito. No? So, unang-una, no, sakit ng ulo ng mga kababayan natin, ang mga sira-sirang mga tulay, sira-sirang mga kalye all over the country. Unfortunately, imbes na ito ang gawing priority nitong mga nakaraang taon, nakaraang dekada, na talagang ayusin ang mga sira-sirang mga kalye at sira-sirang mga tulay all over the country, kung saan-saan napupunta ang pera ng DPWH. Na dapat ito talaga ang inuuna. So, ang unang-unang magiging priority natin ngayong 2026 sa loob nitong bagong budget ay ang pag-aayos ng mga sira-sirang mga kalye at mga tulay all over the country. And there is no highway, there is no road more important than the Maharlika Highway. Ang Maharlika Highway, mula yan, sorry to use the Itbulaga words, no? Mula Aparian hanggang Mindanao. Ang Maharlika Highway. Ang dumadaan sa Maharlika Highway sa mga kababayan natin, milyon yan. Mula norte hanggang Mindanao. Mula Apari hanggang Mindanao. At yan is sira-sira. All over the country. Hindi lang sa Luzon, pati sa Visayas, pati sa Mindanao. At grabe ang kalbaryo, grabe ang hirap na dinaranas ng mga kababayan natin. Araw-araw, dahil sa ganyang sitwasyon ng Maharlika Highway. So, ngayong 2026, for the first time since na magawa at matapos ang Maharlika Highway, magkakaroon ng massive rehabilitation of the Maharlika Highway starting this year. And when I say massive, I mean all segments na sira ng Maharlika Highway ay aayusin natin mula north hanggang south. So, ito example lang to ng napakasamang, and this is not even the worst part of Maharlika Highway. By the way, ang Maharlika Highway, kasama dyan ang MacArthur Highway, kasama dyan ang Quirino Highway, kasama dyan ang Andaya Highway sa Bicol. Ayan, Andaya, makikita nyo yan, sira-sira yan. No? And in fact, itong mga picture na to, magaganda pa nga to eh. May mas mga masasamang mga sitwasyon. And sa Maharlika Highway, lalo na sa Kabikulan. And I want to, I'm sorry, masyado kayo mabilis. So, iniimbita ko ang ating mga kasamahan sa media on a road trip along Maharlika Highway, specifically sa Bicol. No, so on Friday, Jan 16 hanggang Jan 17, imbitahan ko kayong mag-road trip tayo para makita natin yung sitwasyon talaga ng Maharlika Highway, lalo na sa parting Bicol, lalo na ang Andaya Highway. So, pupunta tayo mula Quezon hanggang Bicol, overnight tayo sa Naga, no, para makita talaga natin yung totoong sitwasyon at yung pinagdadaanan ng mga kababayan natin. So, and aayusin natin itong Maharlika Highway, hindi lang sa Luzon, pati sa Mindanao, ay sa Visayas, lalo na sa Samar, sa Leyte, at pati rin sa Mindanao. So, massive ito, no? And we will be doing this starting 2026. Next. Of course, syempre, EDSA. No, yan, matagal ng problema ang EDSA, matagal ng sira-sira ang EDSA. So, ngayon, nakikita nyo, ginagawa na natin yan. And I'm happy to announce that we are ahead of schedule, no, dun sa ating May 31 timeline para sa phase 1 mula Orense hanggang Ross Boulevard. Ahead of schedule tayo. At alam nyo naman, yung pinangako nating mabubuksan natin ang busway by Jan 5, awa ng Diyos, natupad naman natin. At ngayon, normal operations na ang EDSA busway at maganda na siya. No? At nakita naman natin yung mga testimonial ng mga drivers natin sa busway, yung mga gumagamit ng busway, at least from Orense to Rojas, talagang gumanda ang biyahe. No? So, tuloy-tuloy lang tayo dyan. And I just wanted to say na ang reblocking natin kapag weekends ay tuloy-tuloy. No? Pero yung asphalting natin, ganun pa rin. No? Sa gabi pa rin, 10 to 4. Pero ang ating reblocking, pag weekend, tuloy-tuloy na tayo the whole day. No? Yung reblocking lang. No? At ina-announce naman ng DPWH, NCR, kung saan yung reblocking efforts. Pero ang usapan namin dyan, kailangan, again, by the Monday, tapos na yung reblocking. Meaning, 100% passable ang EDSA simula every Monday morning. And gano'n naman ata ang nangyari today. No? So, kaninang alas 5 ng madaling araw, Lunes, passable ang buong EDSA. So, nagkaroon lang ng delay nung Sabado kasi umulan. So, hindi muna tayo nakapag-aspalto nung Sabado kasi nga umuulan. Hindi tayo pwedeng mag-aspalto kapag umuulan. So, tuloy-tuloy ang EDSA. Susunod sa EDSA, gagawin na rin natin ang C5. No, ginagawa na ang design niyan. Again, these are nice pictures already. No, alam naman natin na napakasama ng ibang parte ng C5, lalo na yung mga lalo na itong C5, ito ang backbone na dinadaanan ng mga truck. Talagang madalas masira yan. So, dinidesign na ngayon ang rehabilitation ng C5. Sisimulan na rin natin yan in the next few weeks, no, or within the first quarter, sisimulan na natin ang rehabilitation ng C5. So, abangan na rin natin yan. No? And ito, yung mga sira-sira, ito MacArthur Highway, ito yung sa Apalit, no, sa Pampanga, na forever nang sira, no, parte yan ng MacArthur Highway, no. So, unacceptable ito. Kailangan ayusin na itong mga to once and for all. So, I'll just give a few examples. I'll go through them. Next, examples lang to, hindi lang ito yon, marami pa. No, itong Buot Tao Bridge na never na naayos, no, kailangan maayos na to finally, no. Next, itong Oyungan Bridge sa Iloilo, kita nyo naman, kawawa yung mga kababayan nating dumadaan dyan, kailangan ayusin na rin natin, maintain ng maayos yan. No? Next, itong tubod na Buna Bridge sa Misamis Oriental, maraming ganyan everywhere. No? And finally, yung nakakita nating bridge na, hindi, mamaya pa yun, no? Yun yung unfinished sa Siargao. No? So, next, no? So, and mga hanging bridges natin, ang dami nito. All over the country. Ito, example lang to sa Nueva Vizcaya. No? So, can you imagine yung mga estudyante natin, ganyan tumawid, ganyan pumasok araw-araw? Unacceptable yan. And hindi mahirap ayusin yan. Hindi mahirap ayusin yan, pero bakit hindi inaayos? Diba? Ang dami-daming pondo ng DPWH, bakit hindi inaayos yung mga ganyan? So ngayon, alam niyo naman, bumaba ng malaki ang pondo ng DPWH ngayon from 880 billion, 500 plus billion na lang. Pero ngayong taon na to, and ito, talaga paulit-ulit kong sasabihin sa inyo to, kahit na bumaba ang budget ng DPWH, papatunayan natin, dahil sa suporta at tulong ng ating Pangulo, papatunayan natin na kahit mababa ang budget ng DPWH kumpara sa ibang mga taon, mas marami tayong magagawa, mas marami tayong maaayos, mas marami tayong mare-repair, at gagawin natin ng maayos, ng tama, ng mabilis, at ng mas mura pa. Mas mababa pa ang budget. So yun ang papatunayan natin ngayon, na kapag ang pera ng taong bayan sa DPWH hindi ninanakaw, mas marami tayong magagawa, mas mababa ang presyo, mas mabilis at mas maganda pa ang quality. So yun ang challenge na imi-meet natin this year. At hopefully, sa mga susunod na taon na kahit na wala na kami dito, wala na si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, tuloy-tuloy na ang pagbabago dito sa DPWH. No? So yun ang ating goal at yun ang ipapatunayan natin, hindi lang ngayong taon, kundi sa mga susunod pang taon. So, second, na priority natin, aparte dun sa pag-maintain at pagsasaayos ng mga sira-sirang kalye at tulay, all over the country, ang daming bitin na kalsada at tulay. Na hindi lang taon, pero dekada na ang binibilang natin. Makikita nyo yan, mga tulay na kalahati lang o 1/4 lang. Mga kalsada na ang tagal-tagal na hindi matapos-tapos, bitin. Ang dami-daming pera ng DPWH, bakit hindi matapos-tapos yan? Well, ngayon, alam na natin yung sagot doon. Kasi nga, ninanakaw ang pera at hindi ginagamit sa mga proyekto na dapat tapusin kamukha nitong mga bitin na to. So, yan ang magiging priority natin. I'll give you some examples. Ito, naalala nyo to, kasama ko ata kayo nito. Ito yung nagbiro ako, sabi ko, tatago na lang ako dito. Diba? Kasi after namin binisita yung palpak na flood control sa Arayat, pinakita sa atin ng mayor, ng bagong mayor ng Arayat, itong San Agustin Bridge na never na natapos. Na parang 8 years na o 10 years na ganyan pa rin ang itsura. So tatapusin natin yan this year. Yun ang pinangako natin sa mayor at sa governor ng Pampanga. Mayor ng Arayat at sa governor ng Pampanga. We will finish the San Agustin Bridge this year. And I think nagsisimula na yung continuation ito. Nagsimula na yata noong December. No, at bibisitahin natin ulit yan. At tatapusin natin yan. Isa pa. Madaming pang example yan. Yung Candaba Bridge. Again, sa Pampanga ulit. Yan. 7-8 years na rin yan. Na ganyan. Ang daming ganyan all over the country. Unfinished bridges, unfinished roads, unfinished classrooms, unfinished hospitals. Ang dami yan. All over. So yan, tatapusin natin. Yan ang magiging priority natin ngayon. Yung Aganan flyover sa Iloilo, Yan, tatapusin na rin natin yan this year. Yan yung yung lumulubog na flyover na nakita mismo ng Pangulo natin, na galit si PBBM. Ngayon, inayos na yan, yung lumulubog, at ngayon, tatapusin na natin this year. Next year. Ito, yung Tigasao Pacifico Bridge sa Siargao. Unfinished din yan. I think 7 years, 6 years na rin yan. Nakabitin. May kalye sa kabila, may kalye dito, pero yung bridge hindi natapos. Hindi pinondohan. Kung saan ginagay ang pondo. So yan, popondohan natin yan, tatapusin natin yan. And I wanna ask, ito open call ito sa ating mga kababayan. Kung meron, and I'm sure meron, kung meron kayong sa mga lugar ninyo na unfinished bridges, unfinished roads, unfinished classrooms, unfinished hospitals, unfinished healthcare centers, unfinished facilities, please report them to us dito sa Transparency Portal, sa social media ng DPWH, tag nyo lang si DPWH, sa email, sa hotline, i-report nyo at yan din, isasama namin sa mga nakalista naming napakaraming proyekto na unfinished na tatapusin natin. Please send them to us and we will do our best to find the funds for them and to finish them, if not this year, in the coming year. Please padala nyo po yan at importante po ito kay Pangulo at sa ating lahat. No? Next, priority. Pagkatapos nating magkaso, at marami pang padating na kaso, magpakulong, marami pa rin makukulong, kailangan naman, ayusin natin yung mga flood control na butas-butas at sira-sira. We have to fix them this year bago dumating ang rainy season. Di ba? Hindi enough para sa mga kababayan natin yung may makulong, may managot, mabalik ang pera. Kailangan. Para sa mga kababayan natin sa Bulacan, sa Mindoro, sa Davao, sa La Union, lahat ng mga finailan natin ang kaso na ngayon, nagsisimula ng managot yung mga dapat managot, kailangan naman, ayusin natin yung mga yon. So, kailangan priority natin yan. And, sisimulan natin yan sa Bulacan. No, in fact, I was there last Friday sa 1st District ng Bulacan. Kinausap natin yung bago nating magaling na DE doon. Sabi ko, ito ang priority. Kailangan yung mga butas na yan, kailangan ayusin natin yan. At ayusin na natin ang tama. So, in the next few weeks, we will be presenting the plan for Bulacan 1st District with our new district engineer, si Kenneth, para simulan na itong pagpapaayos nitong mga to. Now, apart from Bulacan, sa Mindoro, kailangan ayusin yan. Kausap ko na si Governor Bons Dolor, I will be going there next week. At meron na siyang plano para gawin ito at tulungan tayong gawin ito. And nag-usap na kami, ang gagawin natin dito, we will empower the province of Mindoro para sila ang tutulong sa ating magpagawa at magpaayos nito. Popondohan natin, pero we will have a memorandum of agreement with the province of Oriental Mindoro in order for them to help us fix this. Because it's already January, February, March, April, May, June, wala nang 6 na buwan, uulan na naman, babahain na naman itong mga lugar na to. And hindi tayo papayag na gano'n. Yan ang isa sa mga inutos ng Pangulo sa akin nung nagkita kami right after napirmahan ng budget. Kailangan ayusin lahat ito bago magtag-ulan. And yan ang gagawin natin. And of course, sa Davao. No? So ngayon, na nakasuhan na at nakulong na sila yung mga DE dyan, yung mga lahat ng involved dyan, marami pang ibang makakasuhan, kawawa naman yung eskwela dyan, yung community dyan, na binabaha pa rin hanggang ngayon. So we have to fix that also. So these are just examples na pa-prioritize natin ayusin lahat yan. So, gagawin natin lahat yan ngayong 2026. Next, apart from the other, at ito alam ko, marami kayong tanong sa akin dito, no? Kailangan ayusin na rin natin once and for all yung budget planning process. Kasi, itong pinag-uusapan nating mga files ni the late Undersecretary Cathy Cabral, pag-usapan natin lahat yan. Pero ang punot dulo ng problemang yan is yung maling paglalagay ng mga proyekto sa budget. Paano nakakalusot ang mga proyektong dahil magkakasi ganito, si ganyan, nakakalusot na lang yung mga proyekto yun, hinalagay sa budget. Kahit na walang plano, kahit na hindi ini-endorso ng mga regional development councils, provincial development councils, paano nakakalusot yun? Yun ang big issue. Hindi, mas malaking issue yun kaysa dun sa kung sino ang nag-rekomenda, sino ang nag-request, sino ang nag-propose. The bigger issue is, paano nakakalusot yung mga proyektong hindi naman na-vet ng tama, walang mga plano, at hindi naman talaga priority. Yun ang kailangan nating baguhin. At through Undersecretary Nick Conti, yun ang babaguhin natin ngayon. And I think by next week, Undersecretary Conti's team, ang ating bagong Undersecretary for Planning, will be ready with the new formula, with the new system of how we make sure that items in budgets, projects in the budgets are really projects that are absolutely necessary and that are not just there because people want to steal money. Bottom line, diretsahan tayo. Yun naman ang problema eh. Di ba? Yung allocables, wala na yan. Yung sistema ng mga allocable na whatever, na hanggang ngayon, hirap pa rin akong intindihan, wala na yan. We will do away with all of that. Wala nang palakasan at singitan sa proyekto. Hindi porket in-endorse ni ganito, ni ganyan, automatic, nandun na sa budget yon. Wala na yon. At yung mga project na walang plano, wala na rin yon. So, ang bagong formula will have a, based on the needs, primarily on the needs of the areas, of the district, of the province, of the municipality, of the region. Ano ba ang priority talaga dyan? Ano ba ang kailangan? Lahat ng project kailangan may plano. Lahat ng project dapat endorsed ng mga development councils. Di ba? At uunahin natin ang pondo, kasi limitado ang pondo eh. Di ba? Nakita natin ngayon eh. Sabi ng Pangulo, every centavo, every peso counts. And with limited funding, kailangan unahin natin yung pondo para matapos ang mga proyekto. Hindi yung nakatenga yung tulay, nakatenga yung kalye, tapos magpopondo ng kung ano-ano para lang pagkakitaan. Tama na yon. Hindi na pwede yon. So babaguhin natin lahat yan. And we will be giving a briefing, a press briefing just on this, hopefully by next week. No? And we're very happy because the private sector is helping us here. You know, I just had a long meeting here. We had a long meeting last week to start the year with the group of Ken Abante, of Tapat, of the civil society groups. Itong mga kasama natin with the CBCP, with the Mayors for Good Governance, with Tapat. We had a long meeting last week on this, and they are now helping us out finalizing the final plans for the budget and planning purposes. And they are also helping us out with monitoring of projects that are ongoing. And they're also helping us out with the budget planning process. So we want to thank especially Tapat for helping us out here, and Ken Abante and his group, because they've really been invaluable to us in really making sure that these things never happen again. So next week yan. So we will announce that. So they're also helping us out with the procurement reforms. No? And these are just some examples. Although we are still in the process of making sure that this happens. But bottom line, meron na tayong bagong procurement law, yung RA 12009. Hindi naman tayo nagkukulang sa batas eh. Ang nagkukulang tayo sa pagsunod sa batas. Problema, yung mga ginawa ni Alcantara, ni Bryce, lahat naman yun, hindi sumunod sa mga batas natin eh. Di ba? So kailangan sundin natin kung anong nasa batas. Problema, at i-enforce natin ang tama. At pag hindi nila sinunod, kulong sila. Ganun lang kasimple dapat yun. No? So, we will also be announcing these reforms in the coming days in detail. No? Next. Also, we need fresh blood in DPWH. I've said this time and time again. The way to change culture, the systemic problems in DPWH, is not only to put in the reforms, not only to make sure that people are held to account, but we need new people. We need young, fresh people who have not been corrupted by the system to come in and start changing the system and the department from within. Lara is an example. Yusek Lara is an example. D.E. Ken is an example. I was just with him and his team. I'm very happy because when I went to Bulacan first, which is the epicenter of all of this, madami akong nakitang mga bata. People in their 30s, engineers in their 30s, some of them even in their 20s. Marami doon, mga bata na, and maraming nag-a-apply. Doon ako natutuwa. Kasi despite all the problems, despite the zero trust in DPWH, maraming pa rin mga bata na gustong mag-apply at gustong magtrabaho dito. At yun, nakakataba ng puso yun. Kasi kung wala nang magtitiwala at wala nang mag-a-apply at wala nang magtatrabaho ditong mga katulad nila, saan tayo pupulutin? So, kailangan tayong maghanap. And I'm here to announce, we are going to start with the campus job fairs this month. The first one will be in Mapua next week in MIT, in Mapua Institute of Technology, on January 21. So, and then all the other schools will follow, and not just in Metro Manila, but all over the country. So, in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So, ako mismo, iikot ako at pupunta ako dito kasama ng ating mga undersecretaries, ng ating mga bagong mga district engineers na para akitin ang ating mga bata, mga bagong graduate, bagong pasa ng board na sumama at makigahok dito sa pagbabagong gusto nating mangyari dito sa DPWH. So, this will start this year. And gagawin din natin, pinapagakas din natin, again, with the help of civil society, with TAPAT, with the other civil society groups led by Ken Abante, we are strengthening further our transparency portal. Yung halimbawa, ang isang major reform na gagawin natin dito na improvement, yung mga files natin, imbes na static files o mga PDF, mga gagawin na nating tinatawag nila machine-readable files, no? Para may access ang publiko at makikita talaga nila yung yung files ng DPWH, kasi wala naman talaga tayong dapat itago dito, contrary to what's been coming out. I mean, all of these are public documents, but of course, if they are subject of ongoing investigations, then we have to follow certain processes and rules, which I will get into later. I'm sure you have a lot of questions there. No, so papalakasin pa natin ang transparency portal, ongoing improvements tayo dito, and one major thing that we're going to be doing is the availability of machine-readable files. No, and our teams in DPWH, the private sector, and the civil society are already at work on this. No, next slide, I think. Okay, ito last ko na lang. No, I will be announcing changes in starting with the regions and some districts today. No, and the first announcement I will be making is the relief of 4 regional directors. So there have been we are officially relieving today for various reasons. No, specifically because there are ongoing investigations here, which I cannot fully disclose to you. But suffice it to say, we are investigating a lot of people in the department, and officially we are relieving 4 regional directors. Regional Director Ronel Tan of Region 1, Regional Director Jovel Mendoza of Region 4A, Regional Director Virgilio Eduarte of Region 5, and Regional Director Danilo Villa of Region 7. We are also relieving Assistant Regional Directors ARD Neil Farala of Region 4B, and also Regional Director Annie De La Vega of Region 5. And we are also relieving Regional Director District Engineer Umali of the 3rd District of Metro Manila, and District Engineer Manny Bulusan of South Manila DEO. So, relief ito. So, they are relieved effective when I sign the relief orders, which will come in the next day or so. We are also, for all intents, relieving 3 DEs. La Union First District Engineering Office, Sherry Lan Gonzalez, Iloilo City DEO Roy Pacanan, and Leyte 4th District District Engineer Peter Scheller Soko, because they have not met CSE qualification standards. So we are going to be very, very strict, and I will be releasing in the next few days or weeks, the new requirements, merit requirements for all officials of DPWH, specifically district engineers, assistant district engineers, the regional directors, and assistant regional directors. Gagawin nating mas matibay, mas malakas ang mga requirements at qualifications para sa mga opisyales ng department. And this will come in the next few weeks. Pero ito na yung initial batch ng mga re-relieve natin. At mag-a-announce din ako ng mga changes across the various regions. And I will make this public. This is mayroon tayong pagbabago sa mga iba't ibang regions. Mayroong mga iba na magsistay muna, may mga iba na papalitan. No? And I will give you this list. We will publish this list after this press conference. No, ito yung from regions. So next slide, please. You don't have to take a picture. We will just release it to you. And these are the new assignments for regional directors, and also for tawag dito new. Sorry, may mali dito. Si Director Ayag lilipat sa Region 6 at si RD Fruto lilipat sa Magito. So anyway, we will correct this, and we will correct this and move it to you. Anyway, yeah. So and then, sorry, what about the ARDs? Ayun na, nandiyan na rin pala ang ARDs. No? So anyway, we will send you the final list today. No? Anyway, sige. Okay? So, finally, I would just want to update you on the but of course we will leave this already up to the Ombudsman and DOJ, our law enforcement agencies. But as you know, ito yung latest update, no? Ito yung mga na-arresto na, ito yung mga pending yung mga warrants of arrest. Next slide, please. Ito na yung mga bagong mga nadagdag na surrender na pera, 241 million. Meron ding nadagdag na freeze na assets. No, 20 billion na ang frozen assets as of December 19. No, ito yung breakdown. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ito. Wala tayong tigil dito. No, at tingin ko ang Ombudsman magkakaroon ng mga announcement very soon. No? Next slide, please. At alam nyo naman, may mga bagong mga sasakyan na naman na nakuha. Ngayon, pati yung mga sasakyan, ibang sasakyan ni former Congressman Zaldico, nakuha na rin. At I'm sure susunod nang i-auction ito, katulad ng mga ginawa kay Diskaya. Yun, may Rolls Royce pa dun. No? Ito yung mga nakuha na. So, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ito, walang tigil. No, magkakaroon kami ng meetings with the DOJ and Ombudsman sa mga susunod na araw para lalo pang pabilisin itong mga gagawin natin ito. At finally, gusto kong i-announce lang, no, na on January 20, ako'y magtitistigo sa Sandigan Bayan sa trial ni former Congressman Zaldico. So, I don't know kung anong rules ng Sandigan Bayan dito, kung ito ba ay open. I'm not sure, pero ina-announce ko lang sa inyo na on Tuesday, ako'y magtitistigo sa kaso sa Oriental Mindoro, sa kaso ni former Congressman Zaldico. So, we will give you updates dun sa aking sworn testimony sa kasong yan. At syempre, dahil ako ang complainant sa marami sa mga kasong to, makikita nyo akong magtitistigo sa maraming mga kaso sa mga susunod na linggo, susunod na buwan, patuloy nitong proseso nating pananagot ng mga dapat managot. No? And I think that is the last slide. No? So maraming salamat. I'm now open to questions. Let's try to keep them quick. I'll also try to keep the answers quick because I have to rush to another meeting.
Secretary.
Yes, please.
Hi, this is Gwen from PCIJ.
Yes, Gwen.
Sir, on the allocables, so sir,
Yes.
it's refreshing to know that there's a new formula. But may I ask,
There's going to be a new formula, yes.
Yes, but in a previous interview by the lawyer of late Undersecretary Yusek Cabral, she actually said na yung original na allocable formula ni Yusek was actually overridden by the House leadership. How do you ensure na yung ginawa po na formula ni yung Undersecretary ni Conti won't suffer the same fate?
I don't think the President will allow that. I take comfort in the fact that the President will not allow that.
So whatever Yusek Conti did, it will be followed.
Yes, of course, we will have to present it to the President for him to be appraised of it and to approve it. But once that is there, the President will not allow it.
Okay, so
I am quite certain of that.
sir, last, sir, on FAPS, sir, I noticed that the
Yeah.
budget for the FAPS, diba, it was from 100 billion to 70 billion, and now it's 17 billion, so less than a fifth of the original
Yes.
figures. Sir, what is the position of the DPWH in that? Hindi po ba maaapektuhan yung flagship or like major
Thank
programs
you for
of the
that question.
administration?
That's a very, very good question. Well, we respect the wisdom of Congress. But I think, the good thing is, in the past years, unfortunately, the disbursement and utilization rates of DPWH has not been great. No, meaning napakababa. And because of that, maraming savings. At yung savings from 2025, and even I think, and also because of the savings that we will be getting from the reductions in the cost of projects because of the revised cost of materials this year, tingin ko kahit na mababa yung foreign assisted project budget dun sa final government General Appropriations Act, meron pa rin tayong magagawa. At marami pa rin tayong magagawa for foreign assisted, and I want to assure our lenders, specifically ADB, JICA, Korea Exim, and the others, that we have, based on savings from previous years and also for 2026, we have substantial amount of funds to ensure that no project will be delayed under the foreign assisted project program.
So sir, walang magsasuffer na projects, is that a fact?
Yes, walang magsasuffer.
Okay po.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Next question.
Yes?
Hi, Sec. Ashley Jose from Business World. Sir, how much is the cost for the Maharlika and the C5 rehab?
Wala pang final cost, but I think minimum it's about 16 billion. That's the initial figure I saw, pero posible pang tumaas yun. Malaki ang kailangang gastusin sa Maharlika. I mean, it's from north to Mindanao. No? I mean, North Luzon to Mindanao. So, at sira-sira talaga yan. So, we will be making a specific press briefing only on Maharlika Highway in the coming weeks. At nandun na rin yung budget, nandun yung kung ano ang gagawin, kung saan, ano ang priority, etc. Pero gagawin namin yon after we go through the Maharlika Highway and Andaya Highway in Bicol on Friday and Saturday.
Sir, follow-up lang. Yung 16 billion for Maharlika lang yun or included din yung C5?
Ay, hindi. Maharlika lang yun.
For C5, sir, how much?
Wala pa rin. So, hinihintay natin yung plano. Again, magkakaroon tayo ng mas detalyadong presentation doon. Pero yung Maharlika, malaki yan. Kasi Maharlika Highway, for your information, has not been rehabilitated since it was built. So, you're talking 40 plus years. 40 plus years since it was completed, since it was built in the late 70s na natapos yan, hindi pa yan nagkakaroon ng major rehabilitation. So, kaya ganyan ang Maharlika Highway. At grabe ang pahirap niyan sa mga kababayan natin.
Sir, last lang, when exactly is the target for this to be to start?
Again, bigyan mo ako ng pagkakataon, tapusin yung plano para mabibigay natin yung lahat ng detalye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sec, good morning po. The
Yes.
House Infrastructure Committee po announced that it plans to request a copy dun sa kumakalat nga po na Cabral files from the DPWH.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give it to them? And how is this different, sir, from the list of allocables na na-mention niyo po before na you already submitted it to the House, Senate, and ICI in aid of their investigation?
Okay, ganito, no? Okay, let me address the files, Cabral file, whatever name you wanna have these files. Nung December 22, a few days bago, ay pagkatapos sumakabilang buhay si former Undersecretary Cabral, nag-issue ng subpoena ang ombudsman for all the files, hard copies, at yung mga computer, no, na kung saan nakalagay yung mga files ni former Undersecretary Cathy Cabral. Yun po ay sinubmit natin immediately sa ombudsman, no, nung bakasyon. No? Lahat ng files na yan ay nasa kustodiya na ng ombudsman. At lahat ng files na yan ay kasama na sa ongoing investigation ng ombudsman at kasama na rin yung ongoing investigation ng DOJ. Dahil ang kustodiya ng files na yan ay nasa ombudsman na, ang ombudsman po ang magdidesisyon kung ano ang gagawin sa mga dokumento at files na ito. Ang unang-una sa aking conversation with Ombudsman Boying at kay Assistant Ombudsman Cravano, ang unang kailangan gawin ay mag-conduct ng tinatawag nilang forensic audit ng files para malaman kung ito ba ay tinamper, binago, at meron bang nangyari sa files na ito. Ang makakagawa lang yan ng tama ay ang law enforcement agencies natin. Specifically, I think, ang partner nila ay ang PNP Cybercrime and siguro pati ang NBI. Pero yan, desisyon na yan ng ombudsman. Tayo ay nandito para mag-fully cooperate sa ombudsman at sa ating law enforcement agencies. At ang pagkakaalam ko, magkakaroon kami ng conference between the ombudsman, the DOJ, the PNP Cybercrime, NBI, etc. sa mga susunod na araw. At doon natin malalaman kung ano ang dapat gawin dito. So, ang magiging sagot ko sa kahit na sinong humingi nitong mga files na ito ay ipapaalam ko muna sa Office of the Ombudsman dahil sila na ang may kustodiya nito. No? So, yun ang proseso at yun lang naman ang dapat. Kasi, tama naman si Ombudsman nung sinabi niya, malay ba natin kung ano na ang mga files na lumalabas? No? Kailangan ma-establish muna natin kung ano ba talaga ang totoong mga files ni former Undersecretary Cabral at kung ito ba ay nabago o na-tamper. Kasi yun ang kailangan talagang i-establish. Kaya nga, kailangan itong i-subject sa forensics. No? Kung yung mga files mo sa computer, nabago ba ito? Kung meron bang mga binago dyan, ano ang mga bago dyan, kailangan ng forensic audit. At siguro dapat tayong lahat, hintayin natin lahat yun. No?
Sir, meron din po, meron din pong nagtatanong, like, why was the files po, yung from former USEC Cabral's computers, yung mga files po niya, only turned over to the Ombudsman after her death and not during
Doon
the
tayo
start
nakatanggap
of...
hindi, ang mga files, nagpadala na tayo ng iba't ibang files sa Ombudsman. In fact, a lot of those files napadala na rin natin, no? Especially those, and including ICI, including, you remember, sa Ombudsman ang pinadala natin, 2016 to 2025. Marami doon, pinadala na natin sa ICI, pinadala na rin natin sa Ombudsman. Pero, yung subpoena, talagang sinabi ng Ombudsman, kasama pati yung CPU, pati yung computers, no? So, a lot of those files napadala na in batches, pero yung lahat ng files na sinama sa subpoena, pinadaga natin yun lahat, including the computers, na sinecure naman natin immediately through the office of Undersecretary Bisnar and as Undersecretary Karima, immediately as soon as we took over in September. In fact, kung makikita nyo, secured na secured talaga yun, nakahiwalay yun eh. Yun, ipinadaga natin lahat yun sa ombudsman after we got the subpoena. So, important yon kasi kailangan makita natin kung sa pamamagitan ng forensics, kailangan makita yon ng ombudsman kung ano ba, kung meron ba, at ano ba ang mga nangyaring pagbabago sa mga files na yon. Yun ang kailangan i-establish. At yun, I think, ang goal ng ombudsman na gawin very, very soon.
Next question.
Good morning po, Sec. Arles po from One News. I just want to ask po, because we have mentioned yung kailangan ma-check yung authenticity and kung wala bang nabago. But the Leviste leaked Cabral files po, he said that it came, may basbas nyo po, ganyan.
Which I said na wala.
Yes, but...
May basbas sa akin, kaklarify ko ulit, no? Ang may basbas sa akin, yung allocations per district. Yun, in fact, open yun eh. Nandyan yan sa lahat ng NEP, lahat ng GA, nandun yan. Di ba? In fact, binigay natin yan, tinransmit din yan officially. Pero yung pagkuha ng files na nakita nyo namang inabas na ng mga dating staff ni Undersecretary Cabral, at yung pagkuha ng files sa isang computer, walang basbas sa akin yan. Uulitin ko yun. Paulit-ulit kung sasabihin yun. No? So, pero on that note, again, it is now up to the ombudsman and our law enforcement agencies to establish the veracity of these files and the authenticity of these files. No, so we leave it up to them. It is already subject to the ongoing investigation at pabayaan natin yung mga nakakaalam at yung mga may kustodiya nitong mga dokumentong to na gawin nila ang kanilang trabaho.
Okay po, yung next question ko po is, since we are empowering our citizens to use the transparency portal, where DPWH has pledged to ensure that there's full transparency, aren't we looking to also upload or put there the previous like list of the projects, like for the previous years as well? That might
Again,
possibly
ulitin ko,
include yung ano.
makikipag-conference kami sa ombudsman, dudulog tayo sa ombudsman kung ito ba ay pwedeng gawin. Kasi nga ongoing yung investigation. No? Ongoing, may mga proseso at may mga rules dyan. So, idudulog natin sa ombudsman yan at tatanungin natin kung ano ang kanyang magiging decision. Pero ngayon, ang kustodiya kasi nasa kanya na. Kasi ongoing ang investigation.
Yun lang pa. Thank you pa.
Thank you. By the way, on the issue of these legal questions, can I just announce to you, and I will make the official designation in the next few days, from now on, for legal issues and legal concerns of the department, we will be appointing a official spokesperson for all legal questions and legal issues for DPWH. No, and that will be Undersecretary Rico Bernabe. No, so he will be now designated as the official spokesperson for all legal issues concerning all the ongoing investigations, all the ongoing both internal and external to DPWH. No, so yung investigasyon dito sa mga opisyales, yung investigasyon sa ombudsman, yung dealings with the ICI, with DOJ, lahat nung mga issues na yan, basta legal of legal nature, si Undersecretary Rico Bernabe, who's obviously a lawyer, siya na ang magsasalita tungkol dyan. Okay? So, I just wanted to make that announcement. Thank you, Undersecretary Rico, for agreeing to that. So, okay.
Next question.
Any other
Sir,
questions? Maybe last question.
Sir?
Last question.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay lang po. Sir, dugtungan ko lang yung...
Ay, sorry.
Dugtungan ko lang po yung tanong ni Ardes and maybe to challenge what you said earlier. Sir, is it not important for people to also know who the proponents of the projects na nandun sa localities nila? Kasi this is not even my own opinion. This is
Of course.
the opinion of lawmakers as early as September last year, and even civil society. They want to know sino po ba yung nag-request in the first place, because it empowers people kapag kunwari may nag-fail na kalsada or bridge,
Tama.
kung sino yung sisingilin po nila. So,
Tama.
po.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And as far as as far as I am concerned, all of this should be made public. But again, because these particular files are now subject of an ongoing investigation, there are rules and process to it. And I promise you, I will ask the Ombudsman this. And if the Ombudsman says, fine, okay, then no
Okay,
problem.
sir.
We will
But the 2026 budget is not subject to anything yet. Is that possible for us to know kung sino yung proponents for all DPWH projects for this year?
I will check if there is in fact a list of that. Meron bang listahan, ha? I don't know. I'll check with planning. If there's a list, I don't think there's an issue there. Kasi tama nga naman kayo eh. Simple lang naman yan eh. Sa DPWH, and I'm sure mangyayari din sa amin yan ngayon na I will now be the one in charge of the budget for the succeeding year, for 2027. Ngayon pa lang, I'm sure, nakakatanggap na kami ng iba't ibang mga sulat at request for kalye dito, tulay dito, classroom dito, ospital dito, lahat yan. Ganyan talaga ang mangyayari. Pero tama kayo, walang issue dapat para malaman ng mga kababayan natin, si Mayor ganito, nag-request ng ganito, si Congressman ganito, nag-request ng ganito. But I think the only issue with the past is there are questions as to the veracity of those lists. That's why they are now subject of the investigation. No? So, let me talk to the Ombudsman about it, and then ako personally, I have no issue with it. Dapat nga, ikabas lahat yan.
Thank you, Sec.
Thank you very much.
Our
Okay.
press con po.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Happy New Year, everybody. So, basta tayo, trabaho na tayo at ang dami natin kailangan gawin. And again, I just want to reiterate, can we just go to the last slide of the deck, yung social media and emails ng DPWH? So, yun. Again, hikayatin ko lang ang mga kababayan natin, lahat ng mga hindi tapos, mga sira-sirang kalye, sira-sirang tulay, padala nyo lang po dito at gagawin namin ang lahat para maayos at mabilis na maayos at matapos ang mga proyektong to. Kasi dito dapat po napupunta ang pera ninyo. At ito po ang pangunahing utos ng ating Pangulo nitong bagong taon, na kailangan ayusin na natin finally ang mga proyektong ito para sa inyo. So again, we're asking the public to please send us your feedback. Please report all of this to us. And then finally, I just want to invite the media. If you're free, please join us when we inspect Maharlika Highway in Bicol, January 16 to 17. Maraming salamat po. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.